The next phase of the stuff we're going to do is the increment and decrement operators. They're so important in C++ that C++ was named after them. The increment is just a plus plus. To increment a number, that means to make it go up by one, is just on top of a variable just to put plus plus. All right, in the simplest terms, here's a program that shows you how. I declare an integer num, and I assign it the value of 4. Okay, I'm going to see out num is the integer we entered. Okay, then I'm going to increment it. Num plus plus with the plus plus as a postfix increments the number after this line. So it's basically after the semicolon. After the semicolon, num is incremented by 1. So obviously num is going to equal 5. And then I'm going to see it out. I'm going to show this to you. And this is the fashion that you all will be using at 95% of the time. This might get to be kind of a long video, but this is the crux of it here. So 4 is the integer we entered. 5 is the integer incremented. Take another look at it. Num is 4, and I see that I printed it out. Then I incremented it. But this is the thing I want to, because we're going to do postfix and prefix. Postfix, the plus plus afterwards, it doesn't increment till here. Okay, it doesn't increment right on this line. All right, but it does get incremented like right here after this semicolon. And then when I see it out, it is going to be whatever num was plus 1. Okay, this works the same for decrement. C minus minus, and let's just change this to decrement. All right, and let me hit Windows Debugger. So 4 is the integer we enter. 3 is the integer incremented. Simple enough. And like I said, this is how you're going to use the increment and decrement operators most of the time. But I have to show you the rest for those one-offs and the people that like to be a little fancy with their code. You all need to know how to use these as pre and postfix. So, like I mentioned, when this is a postfix, it increments or decrements after the statement. If we put if we put these in front, it increments the number right here. It happens. Watch this. I'm going to see this out. See out. Num plus plus. I'm just going to get rid of this line here. All right. Num equals 4. Now I'm going to see out prefix plus plus num. See, it's a 5 now. All right. Let's go back to this, and I'm going to put it postfixed. It's a 4. The reason it's a 4, it's like I said, when it's a postfix, it doesn't happen till after. It doesn't happen till after this statement. And it's the same with the decrement. Minus minus, I've got it done in front. So it's going to go ahead and decrement this number right here. Okay, it's not after the statement, it's before the statement. So hit the debugger. So you can see it's been decremented. The key takeaway, guys, for your notes is when it's a prefix, it happens right there. When it's a postfix, By postfix, I mean afterwards. It doesn't take it. It doesn't. It isn't assigned there. It's assigned after the statement itself. All right. So let's play with some problems that'll make you think. All right. I've got an integer, and this is bad programming for him. I'm just using letters just to kind of keep this as simple as possible. Matter of fact, I can just go ahead and delete this. So you can just concentrate on what I've got in front of you. So integer x equals 0. Then integer y equals x plus plus. And then I'm going to see both of them out with a space in between. So let's talk about what this is going to see out. Obviously for x, all right, wait a minute. Oh, no, it's not obvious. So let's talk about x. X equals 2. Then after this statement, this x plus plus here is going to happen after this statement. So x is going to equal 3 when this sees out. Y is just going to equal 2, because you got to remember, this didn't get incremented till after this statement here. All right, so x is assigned to y, so y equals 2. All right, and x equals 3, because after the statement, when this sees out, x has been incremented. So let's run this. We should get 3 space 2. Right. Let's see out an indel after this. Give us a little bit more readability, thing I keep mentioning in lecture. All right. So let's do another problem. All right, now we got a prefix with x. So let's talk about what happens here. All right, x equals 2. X is incremented, but it's done right here. It's not done after the statement, it's done here. So x equals 3, and that is assigned to y. So x equals 3 and y equals 3. All right, let me run this to show you. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do 2 times x plus plus. All right, so x is 2. And in this statement, x is still going to be 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 is going to be assigned to y. Then after this statement runs, and this is the part that most people forget, after this runs, x is going to get incremented. So when this sees out, x is going to be 3, and y has been assigned 4. All right, let's try something a little bit different. I keep trying to change this up a little bit. All right, straight up, we declared an integer x and assigned it the value of 2. We declared a variable y and assigned it the value of 4. Now we're going to see out x plus plus space, and then y decremented, minus minus y. All right, think about what this is. X plus plus, it's going to be incremented, but not till after this sentence because it's a postfix. So x is going to print out 2. And let's talk about y. Y minus minus, it's going to, or minus minus y, it's being decremented. So y is going to go down 1. So our output should be 2 and 3. All right, here's a program that goes through a few of these scenarios. All right, this demonstrates the increment and decrement operators. So we've got an integer number 4. All right, we'll keep track of these as we go along. So I've declared declared num equal and then assigned its value of 4. All right, the variable num is, and I'm just going to print out its 4. Now I'm going to increment num. I'm going to use the postfix. I left a note here. I'm going to use the postfix. So num plus plus. It's a postfix, so it does it after this line. So it is incremented now by the time we get to this C outline. All right. So it's gonna output 4. All right. Now I'm going to increment again. I'm going to use the prefix, and in this case, it does the same thing. Okay, it's incremented, and where this one was incremented after the semicolon, this one's incremented before the semicolon. So it's going to be the same, have the same effect. Now it's going to print out the number 6. So we got 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to use the postfix, right? So num minus minus. It's going to happen, since it's a postfix, it's going to happen afterwards. So we got 4, 5, 6. Now this is going to decrement it down to 5. It takes place after the semicolon. All right, and this next one is going to use the prefix, which is going to prefix to decrement, which is going to happen immediately before the semicolon. So it's going to decrement again. So let's run this code. So 4, 5, 6. Then we started to decrement 5 and 4. So this will be pretty much how you always use the increment and decrement, like this. You'll decrement. A good clean code is you'll decrement and then see it out. You just need to know if you were seeing it out when it increments and decrements. And this is the key thing. Might make this nice and clear. On this num plus plus, this is a postfix. It decrements after the semicolon. This line of code, say this was C out. Right? This increments after the semicolon, after this C out happens. If it's a prefix, it happens right there and then before this. When this C outs, this happens before the semicolon. When this C outs, the number prints out the num incremented. Same way with the postfix and prefix of the decrement. Okay, just remember that if it's in front of the variable, it happens real time, like right there. If it's afterwards, it happens after that line of code has ran. All right. If you found any of this confusing, please watch the video again. Make sure you get good notes. The notes on this would only take like 3 or 4 lines, but just make sure your notes are good and that you understand this. I know I've keep talking about quiz stuff. This is really good quiz material. We've got enough material to start having quizzes now. Quizzes and the midterm is in like 2 weeks. All right. If you got any questions on this, let me know.